This Sunday, migrated from January 6th, we celebrate the Epiphany of the Lord. And in this celebration, Matthew will tell us the story of the Magi who come from the east and find the baby Jesus in the home in Bethlehem. But the church actually celebrates a threefold epiphany showing encounter with God in Jesus. And we find that in the temple with Simeon and Anna. We find that with the Magi, and we find that with the baptism of the Lord. These three events will come together in our liturgy in these Christmas days. And this manifestation of God is very much at the heart of Christianity. I mean, we have a creed, we have a moral structure, but at the heart of Christianity is not a creed. At the heart of Christianity is not a moral synthesis for life. The heart of Christianity is an encounter based on a revelation of God. And that encounter, it can be something found in the temple among the prophets, of course, but it doesn't have to be. And these stories of God made manifest, these stories of encounter, are also the stories of a people hoping, longing, not even knowing, very much incorrect in their hoping and longing, but still from that place in their hearts along the banks of the Jordan, God made manifest in Jesus. Or even farther, the astrologers, and your mother and mine probably both told us that we should stay away from things like astrology and the signs and the stars, because from a scientific perspective, it's junk. And from a religious perspective, it's superstition. And the fact is, all of the Jewish audience that Matthew was writing to would have recognized the same. And yet, even here in this space, God is made manifest. How much more in true friendship? How much more in beautiful art? How much more in the melodies of composed music? And it's not to say that any of these manifestations express the whole truth, but that there's something of God showing himself forth. I think to some of our contemporary church retreats, either Cursillo or Acts or Walk to Emmaus, there's a certain teaching component and there's a certain liturgical component. But where the retreat works is that there's this team of men or women who've dedicated themselves for months just to serve, to care for, to love a group of their brothers or sisters with no personal gain, no connections being established, no business projects being germinated. No, just an act of love, an encounter with God who is love. And maybe from that, we can also come to understand something of a creed. Maybe we can understand something better about our God. Maybe we can learn a better way to live in a moral structure that would be a blessing in our lives. But at the base of everything is a baby in a room, in a home in Bethlehem that the Magi find and worship because they found him in some way. That at the heart of our belief is the expectations of those along the Jordan, the longings of our own heart, met by God in a surprise moment. Even though we've misunderstood what we long for, that God in our longing comes to us, that at our encounters in the temple, our long-held desires may be filled as a baby, just a baby, is placed in our arms. Today, as we celebrate God made manifest, I think it's fair that we would look to those ways that God can still percolate, can still show himself, can still become concrete and meaningful in my life and in yours.